pleasant good evening, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and for persons who are viewing us via YouTube, I want to welcome you to another edition of The Viewpoint. I'm your host, Junior Bacchus, and I'm here once again to engage in what we consider to be going to be a lively discussion on a very interesting topic. So let me welcome you, and in just a moment I will share with you the topic for our conversation. With me for discussing this topic here tonight, we have the former Public Relations Officer of the now defunct NOBA. I now understand that there is no more NOBA. So we have Mr. Len Grant. He was the very vocal and active PRO of NOBA at that time when NOBA was being managed by Anthony Coderad Bacchus. I know Len was always there in the forefront, leading the way. We also have with us Station Sergeant Parnell Brong. I only know him more in traffic, but I know him better in cricket. I wouldn't tell you how many times I hit his ball, but he might want to tell you how many times you clean bowl me as well. But we're happy to have the Mr. Brong from the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the Traffic Department. We also have with us Mr. Angus Mackey. I guess in the minibus transport business we are seeing Angus for the first time. He's the Vice President of the resuscitated Minibus Association. It is now called Vincentian Transport Association, better known as Vintas. So those are the three gentlemen that are joining me here this evening to engage in the discussion on this topic. And let me share with you the topic at this time. We all are aware that transportation plays a pivotal or critical role in driving the Vincentian economy. The service is by and large in private hands and regulated by the government agencies. The public laments their frustration daily from overcrowded buses, shabby drivers and conductors, limited time for available transportation, reckless driving, and generally poor customer service. How can the public or the government, along with the bus owners, better organize this important industry for the good of our beautiful country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines? So that's the topic for our discussion here this evening. And of course, you can join in our discussion. After the first half an hour or so, we will invite you to make your calls. You can call us at 458-0088, or you can WhatsApp at 530-8962. So this is for you to share your views, for you to also raise questions to the panelists. I will just help to regulate the conversation, but we expect to have an interesting program tonight. Before I take a short break, I just want to recognize the suffering and the frustration and for the people of the Bahamas who are now in the middle of this dangerous storm that we all were preparing for some days ago, Damien. So we want to bring you, the people of the Bahamas, into our prayers as we show our solidarity, our compassion, and give you our support at this time of hardship. So at this time I'll take a short break, and then when we get back we will get straight into our conversation.
In the event of a storm, there can be flooding, landslides, and lightning strikes. Are you protected? What about a hurricane, an earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunami, or even a bushfire? Are you protected? Century Insurance protects you, your family, your home, your business. Talk to one of our friendly agents today. Call our Kingstown office at 456-2247 or Beckway 458-3030. Call Century Insurance. we can protect you. Century Insurance, upstairs the First St. Vincent Bank building in Kingstown.
LA Unique Upholstery. Quality at a low cost. We build to suit your needs. Contact us at Redemption Shops 457-0182 or Stony Grounds 453-2089.
Established in 1971, Flick Pest Control operates with a wealth of experience.
We provide pest control maintenance and preventative treatments.
Existing buildings and site treatment for termites, ship and container fumigation.
Along with lawn care treatments, we are the leaders in securing residential, commercial, and industrial properties against pests and get free on-site inspections on the mainland.
Rest assured about your safety because Flick Pest Control uses environmentally safe and organic chemicals. Flick Pest Control also supplies the VTAC flying insect trap,
The functional, stylish, naturally hygienic FemCare sanitary disposal system,
and the Aroma automatic odor control system. Call Flick Pest Control today
at 457-1857. One flick and they're gone. Log on to Flick Pest Control today at www.flicksvg.com.
Welcome back to our discussion, the viewpoint. As I indicated to you, we are on the heels of the reopening of school. You know what is going to happen on our roads from tomorrow. And this is why SVG-TV thought it necessary for us to have this discussion at this time. Because, panel, tomorrow, your guys from the traffic department they're going to have a real challenge managing the movement of people. We saw the number of students who are going to be going to their schools for the first time. There are going to be lots of people competing on the roads beginning tomorrow. The students along with workers and their movement in both directions. How is the traffic department prepared to deal with what is expected there tomorrow in light of the fact that transportation is very critical? You know, workers go to work too late, they could be disciplined. They could actually lose their job. Students go to school late, they're going down in their record and it could affect them. Everybody needs to be able to move and move on time. I am from the windward end of the island and we have the challenge every time school reopens. How are you from the transport sector in the traffic department ready for tomorrow's challenge?
Well, first let me say good afternoon to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and wherever this program is being viewed or heard. We at the traffic department and the Royal St. Vincent Grenadines Police Force as a whole, we are always prepared and ready for issues like this. As we are all aware that there are established buses for school children. Some of them are part owned by the government and operated by public, by private citizens. And there are some private buses that assist in the transportation of school children. Now, as far as the traffic arrangement is concerned, to enable persons to get to school or work on time, we have seek to embark on opening the road across the old E.T. Joshua Airport.
Wait, I need to give an applaud for that. Because the public being lamenting. It's great to know that.
In conjunction with the Ministry of Transport and Works.
Very good.
We are seek
I feel better.
Yes. To open that portion of road between Option Supermarket that leads across the airport and exit at the old E.T. Joshua Airport exit. That will ease the traffic coming from the windward side a great deal, and we are expecting that persons will utilize that route, and which will enable them to get to work or school on time. Also, we have the presence of the police on the road, the capable police officers every day, day in, day out. They will be on the road to also assist in regulation of the traffic and the change in the traffic regulation.
All right. That with that piece of good news, Angus, maybe I should just go straight to you. But St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I want you to know that Angus is the vice president of Vintas, the new name for the Buses Transportation Association, if I may put it that way, not just mini buses. The president of that association, Mr. Burton Williams, is unable to be here, and maybe Angus, you could tell us a little bit more about the association, and then you could revel on the news that panel has mentioned here, and tell us how you see the buses preparing themselves for tomorrow and the days to come getting into Kingstown.
Okay. Well, I just want to start by saying good night to the listening public out there. Hope everything is well with you guys out there, and as Julia said before, for the people in Bahamas, you know, we praying for you guys and hope you guys pull through.
Definitely.
Okay, so moving on to the matter at hand, we had an election from, you know, members who were previously in NOBA, and one of the main thing was that NOBA had a certain stigma that they wanted to move on from, so they decided on a name change, and after different meetings and consultation we came up with the name Vintas, which is Vincent and Transport Association. And as you said before, we wanted to expand. We just didn't want it to just cover omnibuses. We wanted taxi drivers, we wanted truck drivers. You know, once you provide transportation in the country, we wanted you to join with us.
Don't forget that we are a plural country, and there is an important sector of transport going to the Grenadines. So
right.
So
if you own a boat, we want you to join with us.
Yes,
so, right.
Good. Yeah, transport too.
Right. So we had a election, and we voted a new executive with Mr. Burton Williams being the president, myself being the vice president, Honest Crook being the PRO, Wade Charles being the treasurer, and Miss Ava Kane being the secretary. You know, we would have, you know, committee members and, you know, a lot. Too much to mention. Well, with the moving on to the good news from the traffic branch, we really want to, you know, commend the traffic branch and such a milestone, we feel like, because this is something that we, you know, the van driver was saying. I mean, the whole public in St. Vincent and the Grenadines were begging for this, and I know tomorrow morning they would really appreciate what, you know, from getting the merger from at the roundabout out of the way, because I think the margin at the roundabout is what causes the traffic a lot of time. So if we could get, so the buses won't be, I don't think the buses will be taking that route that much, because they would have to let off persons along the highway and at the and Jobs and Massey bus stop. So
well, it depends on how many passengers. Right. Most of the buses coming from the very north country hardly pick up passengers who not going into
straight into town.
So once they're going straight into town, they just go across and.
So what I'm trying to say is, even though like the buses don't take it, just the fact that most of the country, like 8 out of 10 persons will be taking it, it will do a significant thing. So again, I just want to thank the traffic branch for such a incredible move. Alright, moving on to how those guys are being prepared for tomorrow. Right now, as everybody know, Rockstar run the bus, but also I have a parts place, and I could tell you today those guys was making sure that everything mechanically possible on those buses are being fixed. They're checking all the brakes, make sure the handbrakes get 2 click, 1 click. You know, they make sure they have brand new tires. Yeah, a tire shop right to the back of my business, and I'm telling you, everybody putting on brand new tires. So I think the guys pretty much with safety and everything, they are pretty much ready for tomorrow challenge. Yeah.
Well, that seems to be good, but there are some bad ways that people also wants to get rid of. And when I say bad ways, the behavior from some of the bus drivers, the kind of music they play, also the behavior of some of the police officers towards the bus drivers. And before we got the program started, panel was making mention that if the police really carry out the law to the T, as we would say colloquially, it's like they could charge every single bus driver every day for some kind of offense. So there is need for some leniency, some understanding, and there is some need for give and take. So Len, you have been in this business. We have grown accustomed to your voice, being out there maybe in the wilderness at times, but lamenting the need for us to seek more cooperation between the bus owners and operators along with the police. Later on in the discussion, we will come to deal with some of the issues that we need to address at a macro level. But for the time being, how do you see that kind of cooperation, enhancing the service that we all expect?
Okay, let me take this opportunity to say a pleasant good night to all our listeners and our viewers tonight. And with the thought in mind as to how we go about all of this, it is a call really for a partnership between parties. The general public, the insurance companies, the police, minibus operators and drivers, insurance companies. It takes a partnership in saying that all these different aspects in relation to public transport function in such a manner that each and every individual can be satisfied, because right now I think it's overwhelming to operate a minibus with the amount of costs and the different issues that would be affecting owners. So I am saying now at this time that I am glad to hear that the traffic branch is making provision for that traffic tomorrow to be less congested at the roundabout, you see. And I would go back and say there are different times that calls would have been made for this issue, and it's a good thing that they would have made this move. I am hoping now that we don't just have the police on board, but we might have some other things in place. For example, the cost of insuring a bus now, I think just now might have to take out a loan to insure a bus. So let us hope that we could see other persons coming on board.
Not just now, they are already doing it.
No, because it's really a challenge, and I'm saying, how can we, improve this such an important industry? Key is partnership. As the station said, if they are to implement every regulation, is everything you would be finding a conductor being charged for harassing a passenger, a driver might be overusing his horn or some recklessness. So I'm saying, again, it takes partnership. Because at the end of the day, we are ambassadors for this small country of ours. And when the police play their role, the operators play their role, the insurance play their role, the parts place play their role, then we would have a more effective service. Operators might not have to be as reckless as they are. Not that I'm making excuses for the recklessness, but everybody at the end of the day is trying to see if they would have that sufficient funds to maintain that operation instead of going back to the bank. And it's a challenge.
Coming back to your panel in terms of the police. Thanks, Len. It's a very useful point. I listened a little bit of the preacher at the funeral of the late Sir Vincent Beach, and part of his sermon at that time had to do with the attitude of policemen towards him at the time when he raised the issue. It was something that happened maybe nearly 40 years ago, but it brings me to the question in terms of the approach of the police. we know, I just read that you are representing the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. I always have a problem with this word force. And I really would like to see police service, but that is beyond you. That is something for the policy makers. But the approach, I know when Keith Miller was commissioner, he tried to get some of the officers to put their hand behind the back, you know, in a courteous way, how they talk to the public, and so on. What is happening in that regard? Are we to see better mode of communication? Or is it that the police are so overwhelmed with problems from these minibus and taxi operators and the driving public that they really get frustrated to the point where they have to be tough? Give us what you think the police approach should be like. You've been in the business over 20 years, I am sure.
Yes, Mr. Bacchus. What we do in the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force, we practice professionalism. And you know, it can be taught to you, but it's how you grasp it, how you welcome it, how you embrace it. We teach our members to be professional at all times, regardless the circumstances. Now, it does not give you the opportunity or the privilege to disrespect somebody who is breaking the law. I see.
Good, very important point.
Because the infringement of the law is not against Parnell Brown or Junior Bacchus. It is against the state. But the state employ you to enforce that aspect of the law. So while the omnibus owner, driver, or the person driving the private vehicle might infringe on the law, because of what we taught our persons to be our police to be professional, the offense did not commit against you. It's against the state. So we advise them to be professional at all times. And you know, sometimes, while I understand that the human error, the human might trip in, is that as soon as a driver, a motorist, infringe on the law, and he realizes that he's been caught, or a ticket or something is going to be issued to him or her, he start getting aggressive. But it's for the police now to be professional in his or her approach towards that driver and approach him in a professional way. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, mom. Approach him properly, in a professional way. The person might be upset with himself, or he might try to find means and ways of getting you upset so that he can get you on his side. What we advocate is that you are to be professional at all times in approaching the motorist.
Well, the motorists, the public driver,
the
drivers.
Okay, so I had several, altercations with officers because of the profession that I choose, right? And excluding Corporal Williams, Whistle, aka Whistleman, I mean, every other police would have dealt with me in a real. I feel like if they were talking down to me, and I am one. If I know I do something wrong, the first thing I just do when they stop me, when they stop me, I would go for my license because I know I'm going to get a ticket. So I wouldn't. I am want the back and forth there long, and I just feel like if the police with me, I found that it was too much back and forth conversation going on between myself and the police. What you think you feel you is, and so as you were saying, station, they need to understand that if you break the law, you break the law against the state and not against them. And if they could understand that, you come and say, excuse me, sir, you know, this is a saddle line, you're not supposed to go over here, you broke the law, could you give me your license, please? And they issue the ticket, and they give it to you, and you say, you have 21 days to pay the ticket, have a good day. And that's it. But I think what this caused the level to increase is when the officer decide that he want to detour from just doing his job and then bring his personal feelings into it. Well, that's just my personal thing.
Well, I am hearing those two sides, right? I'm hearing you as the operator and I'm hearing the police. But we have to remember at all times that there's a human factor in this whole situation. Yes, the police, they are taught to be professional. But you again as an operator, you know that there are regulations governing your operation. So you did not abide by the regulation, and hence the police have to be involved. Many a times you would see it that the interaction with an omnibus operator is far different than the interaction with a private vehicle operator, a car per se, or even a truck per se. And you ask yourself why. Why is it so? I mean, we are expecting these operators to get our children to school, get our families to walk and back and forth to the hospital, wherever, take them from point A to point B. But sometimes the personal feeling would come in because when they approach the van, there's an out-of-place passenger who think he need to tell the police something that doesn't concern him or her, or probably a conductor who is not well trained.
Yes, conductor.
And then that creates a problem now for the police. So the police is saying, well, I can't deal with the passenger. Something have to happen here today. And then right then now it ends up that it moved from being a simple situation of obstructing or breaking a regulation to now we're having a personal difference being expressed. And this is why I'm saying we need partnerships. I remember when I was in NOBA, we were trying to have some dialogues whereby the police and operators of omnibuses, because if you go to court on Wednesday, if there are 10 traffic offenses, 9.5 are van operators. So we try also to have a merger whereby they have this working together, so it will eliminate a lot of the issues. Sometimes you hear how a policeman might speak to somebody, especially a van driver, and you want to know that is his child or something. So I'm saying it is not just on the police alone, it is on the operator. The onus is on both parties to make sure that at the end of the day we conduct our business in a professional manner.
Well, we need to recognize though that the van driver or the omnibus operator, they are on the road probably 80% more than the private operator. And on the average, let's say I drive in my private vehicle, I may use the Richmond Hill Road into Kingston maybe twice a day.
Right.
A bus operator from say Calico may use that 15 times a day.
So it comes up.
So you will realize that the bus operator are always in the view of the police.
Right.
And I used to be of the view that the police were definitely targeting bus operators. But then when you analyze it, they are the ones who are on the road more often than the other. So you will find more often it is them, they will have the possibility of being charged or in contact with the police and so on. I even brought in 1991 a carnival ban, police rushed me. I don't know if you remember that when I was president of the Omnibuses Association then. But more and more, I must say that things have improved. Between 1991, when I was actively involved, to today, I have seen the cooperation improving. There's greater understanding, but there's still some room. There's still panel, regardless of what you are teaching those guys and ladies. There are still some people who bring their personal baggage on the job, and they try to use it. And remember, we are a small society, and there is a kind of pull down mentality among us too, you know. So if like Angus thriving as a young businessman and so on, somebody jealous him and want to pull him down, and then they will target him because somebody says something. So we have to recognize sometimes that people bring their personal baggage on the job. But by and large, the transportation sector is important, and I want to spend a little time for us to understand how important is this, because going back to my time, we called a strike when Parnell Campbell, not you Parnell, he was then Minister, Attorney General. He piloted a bill to Parliament to increase the charges on minibus operators, the minimum charges to, I think that time was $250 or $300 up to $2,000 for a basic traffic offense. And we decided, look, that's not good enough, because as Parnell said, if the police really enforce the law, they could actually charge you every minute of the day for all kind of little things. So we had that challenge and we closed down the country. We took a Friday and a Saturday and we shut down Kingston. The whole country was in crisis. So the minibus operators have power. Of course, the government has a tactical move to break them up and to frustrate them and to use politics and all that. But we need to be able to see how important transportation is for all the parties involved to sit down and try and work things out. Are we in that direction? I understand that there have some dialogue taking place.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want Angus to share with us what dialogue is happening these days.
Currently, there are dialogues being taken place right now with Ministry of Transport and Works. Several meetings thus far with the same thing you say with putting in new laws into the new upcoming constitution to get passed and stuff like that. So we just in the discussion phases. Some of the topics that we discussing are tints and vehicle, amplified music, lyrics and levels, insurance modification of vehicles, point system against drivers, and headlights and vehicles. And with the point system, as you said, Junior, I'm really scared for the bus drivers because of probability, and as you said, because the thing is, a private driver would only be on the road for half an hour a day, but a bus driver would be on the road for 14 hours. And I could see with a point system, we say like we take a model from overseas where every ticket is 3 points. 15 points, 6 months to a year suspension. We could see people get ready to take away in one day. You know, so I don't know how we going to go about this. Because as you say, if we take away all the omnibus drivers, let's say in one day, I mean, the system might shut down, the country might shut down, you know?
Well, I understand that there's a committee, as you're referring to, that is going to deal with that. But we have a section 483 of the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Ordinance, you know, that establishes a transport board which gives certain authority under the chairmanship of the Commissioner of Police. When we come back, we will take up that section. I will read to the public what that section says is the responsibility of the transport board to see whether or not your committee really, and I shouldn't say your committee, the committee that you are very much a part of, is really working in tandem with the law, or if it is just something to skirt the issue, give you impression they can do something, and then nothing happen and the minibus continue frustrated. So we'll take a short break, and we come back, we will continue the discussion on these issues, and certainly we'll begin to take your calls immediately after that initial discussion.
At RE/MAX, we know you want to sell your property at top dollar and as fast as possible. To help you sell at top dollar, all of our agents are trained to negotiate the highest possible price for your property. And to sell as fast as possible, our agents can access over 120,000 agents around the globe, which results in more potential buyers. This is why nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Contact your RE/MAX agent today and get your property sold.
Established in 1971, Flick Pest Control operates with a wealth of experience.
We provide pest control maintenance and preventative treatments.
Existing buildings and site treatment for termites, ship and container fumigation.
Along with lawn care treatments, we are the leaders in securing residential, commercial, and industrial properties against pests and get free on-site inspections on the mainland.
Rest assured about your safety because Flick Pest Control uses environmentally safe and organic chemicals. Flick Pest Control also supplies the VTAC flying insect trap,
The functional, stylish, naturally hygienic FemCare sanitary disposal system,
and the Aroma automatic odor control system. Call Flick Pest Control today
at 457-1857. One flick and they're gone. Log on to Flick Pest Control today at www.flicksvg.com.
In the event of a storm, there can be flooding, landslides, and lightning strikes. Are you protected? What about a hurricane, an earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunami, or even a bushfire? Are you protected? Century Insurance protects you, your family, your home, your business. Talk to one of our friendly agents today. Call our Kingstown office at 456-2247 or Beckway 458-3030. Call Century Insurance. We can protect you. Century Insurance, upstairs the First St. Vincent Bank building in Kingstown.
Well, let me welcome you back, and I promised that we were going to engage in a conversation in respect to the role of the transport board, but during the break we thought there are some critical issues. We heard the side of the minibus operator a bit, but the police has experience. They are the one on the road checking on these things, and I want to give panel and certainly the past PRO of the NOBA to develop some of the discussion in respect to the behavior of many of the minibus operators. So panel, the floor is yours.
First, let me identify that the Vice President of Vincentian Transport Association, he established some very important points while he was on the floor speaking. But let me inform you, when an infringement is committed against the state and the police is in view of that infringement, even though you want to assume that the driver knew the infringement that he commits, you should remind the driver of the infringement. Yeah. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Whatever the case may be, I observe you commit a breach of the traffic regulation in that you cross the double line, the two solid double lines, and it is an offense. I am going to issue a ticket. The driver must have, according to law, his driver's license with him at all times whilst driving on the road. In the case you doesn't have your driver's license, it is another offense where you can receive a ticket for. In the absence of the driver's license, a driver is asked, what is your name? And he will give sometimes a false name. That is another offense.
Yeah.
There is also, you can be also arrested if the police, within the police view, he or she believes that the name that you are giving them is a false name. He can arrest you on suspicion and take you to the central police station or to any police barracks for on inquiries.
Yeah.
Until he obtain your correct name and address. The Vice President spoke about recklessness and so on. And if we all were following the news a month or so ago, persons from the traffic department, the police, there was some suspension of driver's license in respect of the persons from the Omnibus Association, which come to recklessness on the road. Now, Mr. Bacchus, you mentioned earlier on about the experience. And I have had the experience of observing or seeing where minibus operators, drivers, they are overtaking long lines of traffic rounding corners with our decent citizens. And sometimes our citizens cannot even air their view in asking the driver so not to overtake or do this kind of commit this infringement with them in their vehicles. Otherwise, they are threatened to be put outside.
Put me out.
And I say that we really need, as Len Grant said, partnership.
Yeah.
I want to challenge the Vincentian Transport Association. Where knowledge is absent, you can call on the superintendent of traffic to have one of his personnel under his command enlighten the association as to the laws. And I believe with this partnership, person will have an appreciation as to what governs them and what they can't and cannot do. Although I believe they know. But it is for us. It is for us to impart our knowledge to them so that we can have a better transport association.
Let me allow Len to come in here.
You see, I am listening and I am saying that I can remember some years ago back when I was a part of the association and we were functioning, that we had looked into some issues that could assist in shaping the way in which the whole sector operates. And we are seeing so much recklessness on the road, and you ask yourself at times if it's passengers, the people these vans are carrying. Because when you look at it, it's amazing that as to the things the risk these persons will take. And education plays a very important role. I am welcoming that idea of the points, because men need to realize that you are risking people's life, and if you are caught, it's not just paying a ticket. Paying a ticket is a simple thing, because most of these guys pay ticket from the owner's money. The owner's spouse, they don't pay it from their personal monies. So they will go tomorrow and commit the same offense. So I am saying, if points are taken away from your license, and you realize that after a period of time, you can no longer operate an omnibus. I am saying an omnibus because you have a H license, you function in this capacity, you breaches the rule, take away your H license. Take away your license and help you to realize that this is reality. You cannot be employed to drive a van. You're affecting the life, you're putting danger on two other road users. And we need to help these people to understand it, because paying the ticket is not sufficient.
I think I could come in here and put on another cap, not just being moderator, but I am one of the sponsors of this program is an insurance company, Century Insurance. I am actually a director of Century Insurance. And I could tell you, I also serve on the claims committee of Century Insurance. So when all these accidents happen, they come to the claims committee for a review, for settlement, and I could tell you, I heard you mention the cost of insurance. When we did our analysis, I just pull a figure out of the top of my head. You may, among the minibus operators, let's say you collect $1 million in the year in their insurance fees. When we did our analysis, we realized we were paying out in excess of $1.4 million beyond. And you know what? You know the most expensive part of insurance? Let me use one bus, for example. You remember there was an accident on the leeward side with a 26-seater bus? Somewhere after you pass Lee, going in that area. There were people who got damaged, nearly lost their lives. That bus was to the value of $200 and something thousand. So you have to replace that bus. The person who just insure maybe just less than a year. They pay one insurance. Let's say the insurance fee was, say, $13,000 for the year. They paid that one. But you have to replace a $200,000+ bus. Then you hear claims, pain and suffering for damage to person's lives. I mean, you're talking in the one accident you could spend $400,000 to settle a single claim for a $13,000 fee. So insurances are getting hit. And I am certain the insurance sector will welcome the point system because, as Len said, it is the drivers who are really causing the accident and not the owners of the buses. And it is the owners' money they use. So we have to really pay attention. I think we have a call. Let's see if there's a call online. And so now is the time for us to take the calls. The number to call is 458-0088. Do we have a caller? Hello? Oh no, we have lost that. So I'm joining with you, Len, to welcome the idea. But there is need for greater communication between all the parties. And we need to see something happen. So let me just say to our viewers, you can also WhatsApp your messages, your ideas, your thoughts. WhatsApp 530-8962 and we take your call. Let's take our first call. Hello. Good evening, caller.
Hello, good evening, Junior.
Yes, good. Welcome on.
Locally.
Yes.
Yes, I'm listening to you all.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I've been driving bus for so many years. I don't give police trouble. I always abide by the rule.
Good.
I don't play unruly music. I don't play loud music. I hardly get a case because I abide by the rule. But I'm home now over here now 4 months I work. Was supposed to get a bus this month, so I'll be back in the minibus association just now.
Right.
So I want you all to take care and have a good night.
So we need more like you to continue in the operation and we have a lot of good minibus operators, eh?
Yeah,
so
and I don't give insurance
bash
no trouble.
everybody with a broad brush.
And I don't give insurance no trouble.
Okay, good.
Yeah, respect man.
And of course, once you don't give the insurance trouble, you will get a discount.
A cheaper rate?
Yes.
But
Okay, thank you for calling though. We have another call. Hello, good evening, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good to have you.
Yeah, good night. Yeah, well then Grant, I guess you know whose voice. Brong. And that's it, you know whose voice. Yeah, well, me serving on the minibus association, just recently, the recent association, we have made a lot of, we've made some decisions with the transport and works. You know, I made a couple of views to enhance the safety of the traveling public. You know, regardless to how you earn your money, you could buy a bus, you could bring it on the road. We know not everybody who operates a bus is owner operator. Some of them just employ. And regardless to how they operate, if the driver say, well, the owner say, well, okay then, you need to bring me $400 every day. The owner don't know how much regulation you break, how much overtake and reckless driving, as long as you bring that quota for them. So then I did make a point in one meeting saying, well, okay, let every minibus owner register with the transport board and with the minibus association. So even to the ordinary civilian, see you doing something reckless on the road, they could go to the traffic branch and they could make a report concerning as to your recklessness and so on. And the owner would have to give account So then the owner will talk to the driver and the conductor as to how they operating on the road. All these issues that we try to discuss to try and stop all this reckless dog. You know, sometimes myself, because of the way how things going, I will decide I'm not going to make any stop where there are no bus stop. But because of the way the bus operating, it's forcing you, if you want to make $1, to make illegal stops, because I will pass about 4 or 5 passengers and decide I'm not stopping there. A bus going to come behind me and it's going to stop. And the same passenger is going to tell you tomorrow, I'm riding with you, imagine I stop you and you pass straight. So it's a lot of issues that
So
you have to try to get
have a
around.
responsibility.
Big responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? So then you know at the end of the day, sometimes you go straight to the bus terminal and you park up. Sometimes the other bus know that picking up people on the road. Sometimes for the whole day you ain't making nothing just by trying to do what is right.
Yeah.
Right? So then what I'm trying to say that it putting you in a bracket as to say like
do a zero man zone.
Right. So then you know try and then you most of the time now use the one that's being caught and being penalized. But then that is not what you want to do. But because of the way the system is, you have to try now to try and fight against the others to try and pick up a $2 on the road. So what I'm trying to say is that the police officers, which is the traffic branch, I already say and I will keep saying, they cannot do anything to eliminate this stuff. They only could do as much. So I'm saying and I'm appealing to the Minister of Transport and Works, because they are the only ones who could put a stop and an end to all this foolishness. Until they put rules and regulation in place to eliminate all this foolishness, the most Station Brown and other officers could do, they come, as we say, they see you a ticket, and so on. They cannot do anything more. It needs rules, regulation, and laws enforced by the transport board.
All right. Okay, we'll allow the officer and maybe the Angus to respond. But just before you respond, sirs, I have 2 WhatsApp messages. One saying, "Good night, sir. I would love for you to address the dress code and of these conductors. Also, the question of loud music." There was another WhatsApp talking about removing the music as well from the minibuses. Conductors and some van drivers are drinking as well. So those are some complaints that we have from coming in via WhatsApp. So in your response to that caller, you could touch on those 2 issues as well. Panel?
Yes, I would like to confirm that there are citizens who have made reports to the police about the conduct of omnibus operators and conductors. Those reports were investigated and the offenders were taken before the court. And I want to commend those persons in that aspect to continue to come forward. Persons who believe they are being violated by these operators, continue to come forward. The police is there to entertain whether it is a legitimate report or is a report that is fabricated. But thus far, the report that were made to us, that we investigated, were legitimate reports, and the offenders were taken to court. And I want to commend those citizens who took that brave step to report the infringement.
Those include the Facebook reports that we saw with drivers speeding and such. Right?
Well, as we are all aware of that, we have
social media.
We have the social media, and we have that part of the organization,
yeah,
which deals with the the information that is being placed on social media.
Okay, just hold a moment on that one. Let's go back to the lines. We will take note of those important issues. Yes, good night, caller. Welcome.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Let me say good night to the panelists, Mr. Junior, and all the other three. I want to find out two things as a driver, because I don't too sure if it works only in around Kingston as minibus operators. Now with the music, the thing is that I don't too sure if out of like, okay, if you leave at Kingston and come into Green Hill, Sharp, if the person who are driving the van and they playing the music when they reach a certain way, okay, from town they may come to like about Black 2000 and they would turn up the music high, and you will see the children them hanging out the head out of the window. If that is an offense, if the police make them driving it out of playing the music out of town, if they can charge the driver, if a passenger can report it that they were driving in this particular van and the music was so high that they couldn't even concentrate, if the police would get involved in that, are always a wrong tongue. The other thing is I want to find out is that with the same van situation, now you would find in van going to the country or the leeward, they would download, the conductor would stand up. If the conductor stand up, which means the van apparently will be overloaded, because there is a seat there for the conductor to sit down, but yet he stand up. So if anything happens, how would that go? Because, I mean, you're supposed to be carrying 18 passengers, and if the van gets in an accident, how would that work out to be? And the overtaking, one time I drive in around Sally Spring with my thing, and I see about 3 vans overtake about 7 vehicles, turn the corner right there by my house, download, and the conductor putting out his hand now to give an indication that they want to squeeze into that thick traffic, putting out the hand and want people to give them a squeeze in the traffic. All of that is causing problems. The thing is, when they get in accidents, not the driver sometimes getting hurt sometime, because why them don't see this.
Okay. All right. I think we got the message there. Panel, give it some time. Yeah. But I think so those are some of the issues you have touched a little earlier.
Yes. The previous caller made mention of passengers positioning themselves in position where there are no bus stops. And then Grant mentioned earlier on about you need to have cooperation, you need to have partnership. Now, as long as there's a vibrant and transport association, these complaints should be taken on board. The Omnibus Association, challenge it to the Transport Board and ask for better regulation of bus stops and other things to accommodate the traveling public.
Just for the persons who are WhatsApping their message, I will take all your WhatsApp messages and get answers for you before the program ends. But we have a caller online, so let me save that with the caller. Hello, good night.
Good night, Junior.
Good night, welcome.
Good night, Len.
Good night.
Panel.
Yes, good night.
I'm not too talking about the other young fella. I know him, but I'm not too sure about his name. Yeah, but I want to put in my 2 cents into this whole thing, because it goes back. Junior was once part of the executive with you when we used to meet over grammar school.
Yes.
Minibus Association.
Yeah.
When we tried to put certain things in place, but we wasn't getting anywhere with the transport board. And I think it's telling us that those things will be, we are waiting. 1, regulating the whole transport system. It needs to be done. I think we are probably the only country in the Caribbean that don't have a regulated transport system. Because a van could today be running leeward, and then tomorrow you see that same van running country. We need to regulate. That is one.
Yeah.
Secondly, I think the time has come to address the whole thing with music in vehicles. Because I would say not only minivan alone. You have some other vehicles that on the road that are nuisance when it comes to the noise.
Cars, yeah.
And the kind of music that they play. Sometimes you're in your home and your whole house is rattling. You want to know how them person in such vehicle. Right? And last but not least, while we are penalizing the minivan drivers and conductors, we also have to take into account our children. They also have a part to play in this whole rat race thing that is going on. And we have to start to educate and inform them about the right way of things. The whole thing where some people are not too level-headed, they get easily carried away and all these sorts of things. And because of the hustling for a dollar, at the end of the day, they get caught up in this whole rat race thing, which don't have to be. But we need to have
bit of minibus. But Poya,
that has to be.
I could identify you. Poya, good night. I have to. We take your points, but it's 1 minute after 8, and we want to take a break, and then we come back and take get some responses to your question, right?
Okay, then.
Thank you for sharing, and let me just say to the persons on WhatsApp that when we return, we will take up all your messages because there are some important questions you have raised via WhatsApp. So just to remind you, this is The Viewpoint. It is coming to you live from SVG Television and also on the sister radio. And when we return, we will continue this discussion for another 25 minutes or so before we close.
Customize your kitchen exactly how you like it. At Jake's Kitchen, we supply natural British hardwood cabinets for all purposes, like over the hood and standard wall cabinets with wine and plate racks and different accessories to choose from. And Jake's Kitchen has the very best white and stainless steel microwaves, stoves, and fridges with water dispenser. Give your kitchen that posh Hollywood look for the best price in the land. At Jake's Kitchen, come choose from our latest kitchen models. Visit our showroom upstairs, Caribbean Glass. No.
A funeral is considered as the last goodbye. The memories are for you, the family, and loved ones. Joseph the Silva Senior Memorial Funeral Home sympathizes and understands the grieving process. They go the extra mile, offering counseling, private funeral, chapel service, night viewing, and church service, along with other services expected at a professional funeral home. Visit the office at Mesopotamia. A warm, modern, and customer-friendly environment awaits you. Joseph the Silva Senior Memorial Funeral Home, offering affordability in time of need. We are here. We care.
LA Unique Upholstery. Quality at a low cost. We build to suit your needs. Contact us at Redemption Shops 457-0182 or Stony Grounds 453-2089.
Well, let me welcome you back, and as you would realize, we used a little period of break to reset our program, and I promised in the previous break to deal with the history of the transport board, but in the interest of those who call and the persons who send their messages on WhatsApp, let me just take the next 5 minutes to raise all those issues. Let me start with this one. Good night. I was waiting to hear Station Sergeant Brown about the possibility of the traffic branch holding at least a week of activities in front of the Central Police Station to meet and educate minibus operators and the public alike about the laws and the public about the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in respect to traffic. So that's one message. Someone asked if they lose their driver's license, how can they get that replaced? I just realized that you have to go back to the license office and pay $100 to get it replaced. So there's no special fee for that. But Brown, you could respond if you wish on that idea, plus the callers who we didn't get to address their issues.
Now, with the new revision, discussion for the revision that is taking place, there is a greater possibility that the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force, in conjunction with the Traffic Department, can hold regular meetings, whether town hall meetings, to enlighten motorists or to bring them up to date as to the changes in the laws. But at present, I don't think there was any discussion other than the radio programs that we are having at mornings and the On The Beat program to update persons. And most of these drivers, these operators, they do not listen to radio. So it is very hard to reach them. That is why I alluded to the statement made by Len Grant earlier on. We need partnership. And if there was a vibrant transport or omnibus association, you have to engage the police. If you see that your members are falling short, you have to engage the powers that be to enlighten your members, because you know you don't want them to fall victim of the situation. Engage the powers that be to come and enlighten your members as to what they can and cannot do to make themselves better drivers or better citizens of St. Vincent and Grenadines.
Another quick question. Good night, sir. I'm concerned about the issuing of H license to those immature conductors. Well, they meaning the conductors who become drivers. I think the insurance sector has some form of regulating that.
Yeah, the insurance have covered that, but I wish I can hear the new association said to me that the committee is looking into the aspect of those consultation that we had many years ago and the kind of information that came out from the general public along with the police and us as members at that time, because a lot of the question keep coming back. It's like we're going wrong in circle. We look at the aspect of who can drive an omnibus, the age of somebody driving a minibus, the relevant training given to drive the minibus, the certification of that individual driving the minibus. You talk about routing, you talk about the lineup system. And I am saying now, if we just go back, take a step back and take a lot of this information and put it into practice in terms of regulating it, because it is too late now to educate some of these guys. Because the system is it now that you have to take some drastic action to address the issue, or we will be a society that is just taking a reaction to whatever would happen in future. You look at the way people drive these days and you realize that these cannot be mature people, they cannot be serious people, they are not business people. We keep saying you have to take into consideration, a man go to the bank and buy a bus, he has a responsibility to pay the bank. So the way he drives his bus is far different than the man who probably would have sailed or find or inherit some money somehow. He buys a bus, so he tell you, you ain't riding my bus, I play what music I want to play and I treat my passengers anyhow. No, we have gone past that stage.
Actually, that is a very question.
Yeah, we've gone past that stage.
To answer, a WhatsApp message asks, good night everyone, I have one question. Is it lawful for the bus operator to put a passenger out of their bus? If yes, on what grounds can they do so? So you can research research that for us, Mr. Brown, to see what can be done. In the meantime, Angus, you want to come in with a point here?
Yeah, so how are the concerns about the reckless driving, the loud music, the obscene language in the music and everything like that? Those actions are, they're undefendable. I can't defend them. Within saying that, I don't want it to seem like that is the Vincentian van culture, because I would like to believe that those incidents are isolated incidents. And in terms of driving, right, I would like to think that bus drivers are some of the most best drivers in the country, and they need not exceed with what they're doing to try and show. I think showing off is a problem, and temperament,
especially these young
right, and
drivers.
temperament is another problem. Not because you figure that you're so good of a driver, you don't need to do certain things. 3 lane, I mean, driving between 2 lanes of traffic because you could do it. I mean,
I don't think it's the ability to drive. What I think is happening, and I said before, we need to regulate the system in such a manner that everybody at the end of the day would see it fair that I can make $1.
Right.
If you have the force come force serve system, it helps. Then I will not see the need to break my neck or to break the person's neck to get down to Kingston to see if I could reach in town before Station Brown because I want to pick up the next set of passenger.
Right.
There is some sort of formality. I am a uniform person, I'm an ambassador because it is not just locals riding my bus, and yet I want to represent my country in a manner that if anybody come onto my bus, they could say, boy, I went to St. Vincent, I had an experience. The driver was courteous, the service was well accepted, the conductor spoke to me properly, the music was just at a moderate level, because there are some things that are just Vincentian. So you don't want to come with say, lot to move this, lot to move that, lot to move this, but certain things have to change drastically so that you can have some sort of uniformity and some effectiveness, because you can make all the money today and tomorrow you lose all by killing somebody in the same vehicle.
We have, when you're ready with the answer there, panel?
Now, in response to the email from the person there, is that if an operator believes that a passenger is not a fair paying passenger, he can ask the person to exit the vehicle. If the person is abusive or is not behaving themselves in accordance to what, these are some of the reasons why you can eject a passenger from your
that is why when we were involved, we were always of the view that people need to pay up front. We shouldn't be waiting till you reach your destination. Pay when you enter. There's another question here. Good night. I think that individuals with H license should have to be above 26 years old, and these younger ones think that they are special. They have to wonder. I'm trying to, let's say them young drivers think of safety. They don't think of safety. It is all about them becoming famous. I think what is happening in the sector, the insurance and maybe the police need to work something out in this area. I know insurance, there's an age of 25 when you have a special rate to drive a bus. There is also insurance companies I know that encourage you to go and receive training in defense driving. I think Jarrett is a company that is trying to provide such training.
Mr. Bacchus had actually...
yes, I know. Anthony Bacchus had walkout arrangements for bus drivers to get the late Anthony Bacchus, that is. Had made arrangements for that. There are some very long email. Let me just go through quickly. Hello and good night, gentlemen. I commend the new move with the Minibus Association. I don't know if there can be any refresher driving course for drivers. Well, there's always need for that. What's up, person? Test drive, some special test drive done by the traffic department for drivers, just as every year they renew their license. Most accidents seems to be by young drivers. When they're saying there seems to be a breach as well with police officers issuing tickets, but the drivers of the buses have an uncle or a bus owner who is in the police force, and nothing comes out of it. The police needs to be an example, driving without seat belt, and government vehicle drivers as well. There needs to be consistency from the police. Also, some officers needs to be a bit more thick-skinned when it comes to the police, when they come to passenger. I know a case where that police was going to give a driver a chance, but due to someone expressing their view, like a passenger, the driver end up getting a ticket. How often does the police check conductors for their permit? That's another question. So there are quite a number of issues in this WhatsApp message. The breach and the police officer in the ticket, but so I don't know if you want to respond. There was a point I thought I should respond to. The police needs to be an example. That is a definite fact, I must say, because when we from the insurance sector check, not necessarily police officers in traffic, but a lot of the accidents that we see coming in are vehicles driven by police officers. This person is also accusing the police, though, in this message, of having some godfather within the traffic area where if their friend get into some breach of the traffic, they get exempted because they have some connection. That's what the person is also saying. So you can comment while I look at the other messages.
I am not aware of that being extended to. They have like persons within the organization who will ask that the ticket be cancelled. But you know, sometimes in every aspect of life, there must be a level of discretion.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes what happens is that the young officers that we have might not know every person in society as face to face, know them as in the person. But let's take, for instance, you might have the ex-principal for the St. Vincent Girls High School. She might commit a breach of the traffic regulation. She might park in an area where she is not supposed to be parked. And then officer might give her a ticket. Nothing is wrong with the ex-principal coming to the police station and ask the commissioner of police for
some leniency.
For some leniency. Now, on the complaint, while the offense is committed against the state, the commissioner of police have the ultimate power to go forward or withdraw any matters come before him.
Yeah, I think that was the point I alluded to earlier when we talk about the Monty Mall and his message and that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a quick question here, guys. What about the fare for the minibuses? If someone walk out and didn't pay you the correct fare, can you take them to the police station?
Yes, they can.
They can.
It's an offense.
They can report. Yes.
Yes, it's an offense.
We have another. Hi, good night. I am traveling with a child about 4 or 5 years old. Should she get a seat or ride in my lap? Any quick comment?
The laws of St. Vincent and Grenadines when it comes to persons under the age of 10 say that 2 persons under the age of 10 is considered to be a passenger. Right. One passenger.
So they can...
Yeah, can be seated, but 2 count as 1.
Yeah, but and therefore if you want your child to be seated regardless of the age, then you pay the full fare for the seat. That's my own thought. I'm not sure what the law say. We will take. I believe that our curriculum needs to cater to the needs of our students as it relates to their individual needs. What about art, carpentry, mason? This is probably not for us. Good night, members of the panel. My concern is that the minibuses. Yes, we have a caller on the line. Yes, let's take the call then and save my voice a little bit from reading these messages. Hello, good night, caller.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Yeah, well, call him back again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Mr. Backus?
Yeah.
you and Mr. Grant, you two will have more knowledge about what I'm talking about. Right? Well, Station Brown, well, this one is towards you two. Somebody called earlier regarding to overloading of the minibus. But some people, if the conductor is standing, they told me that the bus is overloaded, which is they are wrong. From the registration of the bus is registered to carry 18 fare-paying passengers.
Yeah, correct.
Right? The conductor is not a passenger.
Correct.
Because the conductor is not covered by the insurance. Right? And you cannot operate the bus without a conductor. So if anything has to be changed, they have to go back to the drawing board with transport and works and the registering of the bus. If they want to register the bus as 17 passengers and let the conductor sit down. But that is the other part.
Yeah.
Right? Well, Mr. Bacchus, well, you was in this association long before I even come around. Len Grant was before me. And you all know that we put suggestion out there to the Minister of Transport and Work. And you know the thing that was pushed back to us. It left us know with the opinion that this is the way the authorities want it.
Yeah.
So that if the association want to hold out for some just cause, that they always have something to dish back at you, that you all can unite. If you decide to say, well, you're striking for some cause, some walking and some ain't walking, which we know things that we dish out and put out there to the authorities and ask for, and we have been denied. So a lot of this stuff that is going on could be eliminated. It could be easier on the traffic branch. It could be easier on the public if the authorities just come forward and decide that, well, okay, then the association was asking for this for the longest while to help regulate and to put in place a better busing system and stop playing politics with the whole thing that you think I could give her that kind of power. If all the unite, all could be able to shut down the country. That is not the main factor that we're trying to deal with. The main factor that we're trying to deal with is the safety of the traveling public. It will enhance and better the operation of the public transportation service. So I need the Minister of Transport and Work to decide, come and take a firm stand and decide, well, boy, it is time enough to just put this thing out there, put the rules and the regulation out there and work in conjunction with the Minibus Association and with the traffic branch and let everybody come together and try and create a better service for everybody. It's not police against, and that is why it keeps having this thing like if police and minibus operators have a war against one another, which we know is not so. Me and Brown just get along good. Me and almost all of them in the traffic branches get along good. But the picture that the public is getting now is that, like, if transport service and the police are back and forth against one another.
I endorse everything you said there, Carla, because I think, as Len said earlier, every new administration on minibus comes and goes, the same issues come up before us. And it is time enough for at least the government to sit down with these operators. They have the transport board properly constituted.
Yeah,
because the Governor General has the authority under Chapter 483
to
appoint a transport board under the chairmanship of the Commissioner of Police. Is it time for that to happen?
Exactly.
And don't have Minister Julian Francis taking the responsibility. Because once you put it in the hands of the Minister of Transport, it becomes political. And let us don't hide our face from it, because he's the secretary of the party and he look out for the party interest too. So put the onus on the Governor General to see that the Commissioner of Police call the Transport Board together and bring the relevant parties, have them appointed, and let them deal with the issues outlined in Chapter 483 of the law. So that is where the solution lies. And stop playing politics with the transport system.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but time is running out on us, so
we
will have to take up this maybe through social media in the future as well. But there's a serious number of comments on WhatsApp here. So thank you again. We have just about 4.5 minutes to wrap up. So let me just bring out some of these messages. The van driver speeding, I think we touched that, so I'm not going to repeat those of there. When we drive in on the road, we need to be more focused. There's the question of drivers using cell phones while they're driving. This one is very long. Greetings, gentlemen. Bongo Shaka here. Much blessings to all. Now, many laws, rules, and regulations are in place, so there should be the aim to work in harmony with every party. But the main weakness here is self-discipline. One must look into themselves and see what they are doing wrong. It's because of the undisciplinedness, that's Bongo's word, of people that cause laws to be made many times. And the police also gets bad name. I say that the police should be commended. The new association should partner with the police and print pamphlets of do's and don'ts as it relates to drivers, and they have to adhere to what they have to adhere to, and they should be given to read and be acquainted with those rules. So that was Bongo Shaka. There's quite a number more here, so we just running out of time. So we will have to take some of these later, but gentlemen, we have just 3 minutes, so I'm going to ask each of you to take 1 minute and kind of summarize some of the issues. We really haven't touched on the question of the economy and the late hours, the early hours some buses come off the road. Some persons raised that, whether we shouldn't have the buses working with some specific rules in terms of time, service in certain areas, especially the tourism areas. All these are issues that needs to be delved into to really address this issue. So I'm going to start with you, Angus, to wrap up before we close the program. 1 minute.
Yeah, okay. Well, in conclusion, with everything that's been said tonight, I just want to say is that everything leads right back to the Transport Board. All the grievances, everything that the traveling public want to see happen, not until the Transport Board could bring it into law, it will just be a concept. So the meetings that we are having now with the Transport Board, I hope that they are just not meetings alone, and I hope that some sort of resolution could come out of it. I just want to say a big thanks to Miss Nisha Cruikshank, our attorney for Vintas. She's been in the whole transition period, as Len alluded to. If there are any, she trying to write some bylaws within our organization that drivers we should have our own penalization within our organization and stuff like that. So yes, we are working and searching. So yes, as you know, everything is just a theory until the Transport Board could bring it into reality. So that's it for me.
Ben?
I would just like to know, even here tomorrow morning, that the Ministry of Transport just go back to 10 years ago when we went throughout this country, had several consultations, hear the views of the public, and we placed so many things on paper. So let us not be recycling ideas today with Vintab and leaving the impression that something is going to be done when they are really the backbone of this whole industry is to remodel the industry, it is too far gone now to say educate in line of this system. What we need to do now is to regulate in partnership. Not the ministry come tomorrow and just say, you do this, you do that, you do the other. Work in partnership so that everybody would have the say, everybody will play their role, because at the ending of the day, whatever comes out of it, all of us will be affected and all of us will have to live by whatever comes out of it.
Cornell?
I'm very thankful for being on this program, and I just want listeners to know that everything that we speak about, that we are living today, was drawn from the Bible. The Bible said that he make police, he make farmers, he make lawyers, and he make doctors. And the police is there to enforce the laws of the lands. And I want to assure you that the police have no beef with any driver, any motor vehicle operator out there. We are there to enforce, and if during our enforcement you fall victim, the discussion is ours if we want to give you a chance. Once again, I assure you that we practice true professionalism, and if any of our officers fall outside of the realms of what we teach, it is because of the human error and the society where they comes from.
All right, I just want to say thank you, gentlemen, for really being such a good panel. We have quite a lot we could have get into, but let me say to our viewers, our listeners, that tonight we learned that from tomorrow you have access to that road coming across the airport, the old E.T. Joshua Airport, to ease some of the traffic. I don't know if it will be throughout the day, but at least I expect it will be for the peak period. Probably coming into town in the morning and going out in the evening. So I expect that to be done. Secondly, I know a lot of the minibus drivers got a lot of bashing on this program tonight. I want to say to you minibus operators, some of you are very good operators, good drivers. I look at minibus operators, the conductors actually properly dressed, some of them, some not so good, but they cross the children across the road, they go and they help them. There are some outstanding bus drivers and conductors out there as well who are very helpful. I'm not going to call any names, but you know, if you are caring, you know you will be looked at and people will recognize you and more passengers will travel with you. So let me say thank you to SVG Television for hosting program, the sponsors, of course. Without you, this program couldn't happen. So thank you to all our sponsors, and gentlemen, we look forward at some other time for this discussion to even extend. Read the law 483, the Transport Board requirements, and the Commissioner of Police. I'm calling on you to reorganize and establish the Transport Board under your command, and let us try to deal with these issues and take the issue out of politician hand. Thank you and good evening.
Magic.